Hello and welcome to the CJ Lester Show. I am your host, CJ Lester, and I am so glad you're here today to join us. And we are doing it a little bit different. Uh, I got my microphone here, and it works with the computer I have now, so we can do a live chat like this. Um, well, this is actually pre-recorded. I'm sorry, but welcome to the CJ Lester Show, and I got some stuff for you here today. Let's first. I want to look at the debate that we had this past Tuesday. It was an interesting debate to say, but Trump did say some stuff that he probably shouldn't have said, and so did Harris. But it was three against one, in my opinion. And so let's take a look at the highlights and what happened during the debate, and then we'll be back.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there. She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have to
plan.
move.
Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
I don't know. I mean, all I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out. And I'll say that. And then I read that she was black.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a tragedy that we have someone who wants to be president who has consistently, over the course of his career, attempted to use race to divide the American people.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
You talk about extreme.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
One does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country. You want to talk about this is what people wanted?
She hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. But just so you understand, they sent her to negotiate peace before this war started. 3 days later, he went in and he started the war.
Yet again, I said it at the beginning of this debate, you're going to hear a bunch of lies coming from this fellow. And that is another one. When I went to meet with President Zelensky, I've now met with him over 5 times. The reality is it has been about standing as America always should. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now. So I think you've heard tonight 2 very different visions for our country. One that is focused on the future, and the other that is focused on the past.
She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it?
That was the debate there, and yeah, in a nutshell. So there was a lot of things there, but just to remember that it was three against one because the media people went after Trump and fact checked him, but never once did they fact check Kamala. But that's why it's up to us to show you the truth about what's going on in the election. So now let's go on to a little something funny. It was about the debate with the cats and dogs things on. This is a clip from Gutterfield, and it's pretty hilarious. It's pretty long, or not long. It's like 7 minutes, but let's have some fun here and watch this video.
Coming your way. Hey, hey, hope the memes never cease as Trump protects cats, ducks, and geese. Our video of the day comes to us from the pumpkin-painted pet protector known as Donald Trump. His passionate defense of America's furry friends has been memed 6 ways to Sunday, and we wanted to share some of our faves. Watch.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. 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 They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating. They're eating the pets.
I saw that one.
Now, I got no idea if these stories about pet eating are false, but the memes are glorious. And like I say, if the Democrats ignore illegal immigration and all the various horrible crimes stemming from it, then screw them if they can't take a joke. At least it finally has the media's attention. And as far as eating any creature you can get your hands on goes, one man says, don't knock it till you tried it. Dagan, I firmly believe that these memes don't have to be factual because they've already ignored the facts. It's like we have women getting murdered, getting raped, and it's like the only time you hear about it is on Fox. You don't hear from them. So it's like, you don't want the facts, we'll play with the fiction.
The genius of these memes, other than they're highly entertaining, they actually make people go and investigate what is going on specifically in Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah.
With a population of 58,000 people, and there have been, 20,000 Haitian migrants come into this small town in just a matter of years. It's a hardship in terms of education, in terms of financial resources.
Speeding accidents, there's like 10 accidents a day, according to the New York Post.
I've actually had friends who did this very thing going, oh my God, I can't believe what's going on in this small town in Ohio. I'm like, yeah, this lives on and on and on. Meantime, the only thing anyone will remember about Kamala Harris from that debate is that weird, studied, rehearsed hand gesture that she was doing, right? And the more I watched it was, I'm like, don't you know that putting your hand on your chin causes zits?
Oh, really? So, Andrew, as a connoisseur of cultural cuisines, is it perhaps possible to argue that the eating of domesticated animals might have been brought over here, or is that just absurd?
Well, actually, historically, these are called roof rabbits, and they are delicious according to many of the recipes that I've looked at. You got to use a lot of acid, a lot of berries to cut through the richness of the back hind quarter. But we don't need to get into the delicacies of cooking roof rabbit.
Yes.
This was an interesting moment of the debate because on the one hand, I think it's glorious, the memes that have come out of this. I mean, unbelievable. The content's going to go on for weeks. On the other hand, we all knew it was coming. And I said to my wife before, when we were watching debate, I go, they bring up the roof rabbits, the cats, the dogs.
Yeah.
He is going to pounce, right,
Yeah.
to use their language. And when he does, the next day, that's going to be what everybody talks about.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this equation that the media uses, right? Somebody goes into a store, or you know, and they rob the restaurant. And Trump comes out and he goes, the guy came in and robbed the restaurant and he took money from everybody. And then after that, I ordered a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
And it turns out he ordered a chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
So they're like, fact check, he ordered a chicken sandwich. The robbery never happened.
Exactly.
Right.
Or they'll say, like, the guy came in, robbed the place, took everybody's money, and they'll go, no, he didn't take everybody's money. He only took 18. Like, they'll go, all of a sudden they'll get really specific about how many people were robbed. And no, this isn't true. So the fact is, there probably isn't anybody eating cats and dogs. But the New York Times reports there's like fatalities from car accidents. I didn't know about that. So let me ask you this. Do the memes undermine the serious argument about illegal immigration, or does it a favor by drawing eyeballs to it?
I think the latter, which I agree with your point, Dagan, because think about the things that go viral that captivate all of a sudden America's attention, right? 99.9% of it is just ridiculous, right? The one that came to mind when I was watching this was the like finance 6'5", right? It's nonsense. Do you guys even know what I'm talking about? Whatever. So this, at least to your point, is driving people to that larger issue because it is based in reality for the most part, which is open borders that are overwhelming America's resources in small towns, right? We know that emergency services budgets have been totally hit within 1 month of an entire fiscal year. People are being forced out of emergency rooms. People are the strain is real. And so yet again, the media is playing a shell game. Well, nothing to see here about that, so why don't we focus on this? It's sort of like if you catch your partner cheating or you're in an argument and they just, well, no, but I was wearing green. No, I wasn't speeding then, right? It's the forest for the trees, and it remains, if we're garnering any attention whatsoever on this issue, then yes, I'm all for it. Plus, it's, to your point, pretty funny.
Yeah, you know.
The memes.
Tom, it is interesting how we never see the libs memeing. Is there a biological reason for that? They can't meme.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're getting, the funny thing is, if you go on TikTok, you see the videos, it's all the girls dancing to this, and they're making fun of Trump. They're like, ha, 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 Trump's an idiot. But they're talking now about Springfield, Ohio, which was Trump's goal originally. And so just look at the Google searches of Springfield, Ohio. Nobody was talking about it, and now everyone is talking about it, and they're talking about other stuff, not just the cats and the dogs and the pets and everything else. Although I love that, I'm seeing in these memes, you're like, oh, I know that dog from the other meme. Like,
Totally.
he's like getting a lot of work now, you know? His career's going well, you know? He's keeping it alive.
So true.
The Doge market is way up.
Yes.
But, you know, John Legend just made a video, and he put it out, and he said, Springfield, Ohio, let them in, let them in, let them in. And people are back, and they're like, how about you let them into your mansion? And they're showing pictures of his palatial mansion.
Yeah.
It's all backfiring, and they're going to keep this up. They call it the Streisand effect.
He should, you know what, I bet he would, John Legend would take in 100 Haitian migrants if he could unload Chrissy Teigen.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.
So yeah, that was pretty funny. I thought y'all would enjoy that. But if you don't watch that show, I encourage you to watch that show. It's pretty funny. But there was one I forgot to show y'all before that, but because it talked about the debate. This is Dr. Phil's new, I guess, not empire, but I can't think of the name I'm looking for, but his new program, and he has some body language experts on. And I thought I shared it on my Facebook page, but I want to share it on here on the CJ Lester Show because it's body language shows a lot about the person and, you know, what they actually thinking and how it's actually going for them. So let's go over there and watch this video of Dr. Phil and his body language experts.
Right from the start, you noticed that she was, in your opinion, trying to pick a fight.
Well, yeah, there's a great video we'll look at here just a second.
Well, let's do it right now. There's no sense waiting.
Yeah, so.
All right, Scott, come over here.
What's great about this video is we get to see, did anybody notice that Kamala Harris did not laugh, that thing that everybody calls a cackle? She laughed one time. Do you remember that? When did she laugh? Well, what I saw is she laughed when she baited him into a fight.
Okay, now the reason this is important is, look, these guys have both been in debate prep, right? I mean, they've been like woodshedded. So they've been spending sometimes 6-8 hours a day preparing for this debate. And one of the strategies, and I've done a lot of witness prep in my career, where I've prepared witnesses for billion-dollar trials and prepared CEOs of large corporations to face the media in high-stress situations. And so you go in with strategies. And one of her strategies is she knows that former President Trump can be volatile, right? Explosive. You know, he can call people names and he can say, and so clearly, if I was preparing her, which I was not, I've been trying to interview her, I've got in so many requests, it looks like confetti on New Year's Eve. And she hasn't been talking to anybody, but I think she will. But if I was preparing her to debate Trump, one of the things I would be doing is saying, you got to get him upset. You got to get him mad. You got to bait him so he loses it and shows not his finest side.
And precisely what I would do as well, Doc. First of all, she's this big, he's this big. It makes him look like a bully. So she's smart to draw him into that, make him lose it. And all that adrenaline we're talking about takes away your thinking brain and makes you respond. That's what she's after. We said that her face, if you notice her face here, if I go over and mark, you can see in here, she's actually showing that big smile, big smile. Her hands come up, her fingers are extended and joined. She's confident she's gotten into it. That's genuine. That is not her nervous, throw her head back, protect her throat laugh. We can see her eyes are engaged. You see her moving her hands. She intended exactly what she's getting, and she's not answering the question she was asked. She's attacking him about his
Yeah, now look at this. Look at this expression right here.
That's contempt all day. That upper side, one-sided face rise is contempt in her part. Her chin is thrust forward instead of protecting her neck. When she laughs out of nervousness, she does ha, and it makes her look different. You can see it. She baited him in, and she's ready for it.
Okay, so there was nothing accidental.
Nothing accidental.
Okay. Now, Scott, you analyze former President Trump's body language and behavior and say you noticed something very interesting about his eyes from the beginning of the debate. What did you notice?
A lot of people will count blink rate quite often. We'll talk about how many times a person blinks. But in this situation, what we're looking at from an eye perspective is called the intake eye. For example, if you're shooting a gun and you put your eye on the target, that eye opens up and the other eye will kind of squint a little bit. However, when you're taking in information that you're thinking about that may be aggressive information toward you, then you've got inner dialogue going on and you're fighting back and forth as you think about that. What am I going to do? What am I going to say?
And what do we see in here?
And right here, we see that eye right there start squinting. And that's his right eye. That's his intake eye. And the more he thinks, as he's going aggressively toward Kamala, the more that eye squints because he's thinking about the things that she said up to that point so far. This right here, we're seeing a little bit, this is not a micro expression. A micro expression is a very small, fast expression, but this is a little bit of anger right in here. That's why we see those bottom teeth right there. So we're seeing confidence, but at the same time as he's extremely stressed because this was at the beginning of the debate. So, which is normal, you're going to be stressed, but we're seeing a whole lot of stress build up on him. And that's why that eye starts closing as he's taking in that information and thinking about it.
All right. And Greg, you noticed something else about Vice President Harris tonight, that she didn't answer the question about flip-flopping.
Yeah, so
because they went over 5 or 6 examples.
Agreed. And the question you have to ask yourself is, this is a big election. So what you're looking for is truth. You're looking for what the person believes. What we saw, however, is watch her. First of all, their elbows are at her side. When she's given the chance to answer the flip-flopping question, she brings up a topic she says she didn't flip-flop on. She doesn't address flip-flopping. She covers that up. And we see that. Watch your elbows. I told you. See that hand on the right is getting smaller? When people believe in what they're saying, they hold their hands and they extend their fingers and their thumbs and their elbows away from their side. When they do this, you should be suspicious. That's creating an exoskeleton for themselves. So what we didn't get, in my opinion, is clarity. Clarity is a different thing than honesty even. If a person's going to guard what they're saying, it's hard to know what's true.
Okay, so you're saying when she comes in here.
Yes. Well, and Donald Trump does it occasionally. You'll see when he does something stupid, he does this too. So you see it, you see her hands are extended. But when she gets pressed, she rolls her fingers and she doesn't answer the question.
Okay, and she never did answer that.
She never did answer the question.
Okay. And Scott, you say you also noticed something else with former President Trump that you call his baseline.
Right. So in his baseline, we usually see the illustrators where we see the little squeeze box thing going back and forth, and we get that hand coming up like this, and he'll start doing this. This is where he starts breaking out into the classic Trump illustrators. Illustrators are the way your brain emphasizes specific words and phrases, like I did just then, specific words and phrases. And that's what we're seeing when we see his arms move on the words. And this shows he's got confidence with what he's saying and believes it because they happen when the words hit. Quite often when someone doesn't believe what they're saying, they may be being deceptive with you. It's when they don't hit when they're talking on those words. They'll just sort of do a free play thing here as they're speaking.
All right, we've got sound for this one. Let's hear it.
Okay.
In fact, she said at the beginning, well, I'm surprised you're not talking about the border yet. That's because she knows what a bad job they've done. What about those people? When are they going to be prosecuted?
So here again, we're seeing anger as well. So because we're seeing frustration and anger. And we know that because the head is tilted forward. At the same time, you could say that's confidence. Quite often your head comes back when you're confident. But in this, it's almost like he's coming forward. So that's what we're seeing, the confidence part there. But he's frustrated and he's angry. And that's what we're seeing here. Some we're seeing the disdain right in there. So, which is normal for a situation like this because obviously he doesn't like her at all. But they're both showing a lot of disdain toward each other, contempt toward each other.
All right, let's sit back down a minute because I want to ask you.
All right, so I thought that was very interesting, and I thought you would enjoy that as well. Again, that's on my Facebook page. I encourage you all to follow me at CJ Lester88, and then also on Chatting It Up with CJ. And then, of course, you can go to the Lester's Report, which was formerly or is now the CJ Lester Show. But I just want y'all to be informed during this election. Know the truth. The truth is the answer to all this because she's saying we're lying and they're saying they're lying, but really they are lying. And things are not looking good for this country, and we need to get it back on the right track. So please be on the lookout for my stuff when I post stuff. When I post stuff, I want you to know about it, and I think it's very truthful and informative, the stuff I put out. Now, I do have some upcoming events that I want you to know about. So my first one is now every Sunday we are going to start having a Bible study, and it will be on the Truth Broadcast channel. If you don't like that channel, please go over there and like that. But I'll be posting everything on my YouTube and my personal page, but I also want to divide stuff up equally for Bible study and political stuff. So that's why I have the Truth Broadcast. The Truth Broadcast is my ministry page where I do my Bible studies and other things like that. So make sure you go to the Truth Broadcast, and of course, my channel will be there. And then we're going to have a special guest with us each Sunday, Nathan Hirsch, and I'll bring along some other guests that said they would love to do it when they have time. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be every Sunday night from 6 to 7:15 on my channel. And this week we'll be focusing on Psalms 23 and Psalms 139, verse 7 and 8. Everybody should know Psalm 23, but we're going to go a little bit deeper in it. And so I want you to come, join us. And if you don't have a home church, we'll love to be with you, pray for you. Go ahead and put your prayer requests on my page or DM me, and we'll get those taken care of. Now, the second one is on next Friday on Chatting It Up with CJ. We're going to have Mr. Joel Singleton. He is the head of the Georgia State Gospel Singing Convention here in Georgia, and his convention is going to be held on October 4th and the 5th in Rutledge, Georgia at Rutledge Baptist Church, where I'll be sponsoring them. And so please be on the lookout for that. That's some fun stuff there. And then also my first live in-person interview. I want you to come. I am inviting people to come. There's going to be a meet and greet before time at 5:30. It starts at 6 o'clock from 6 to 7 at Variet Production Studios. And the address is 1107 West Avenue, Suite F, Conyers, Georgia, 30012. And I will be interviewing Miss Tamara Variet. She is a playwright and a pastor herself. So it will be a good time getting to know a little bit more about her and her studio. You can go to her website at varietproductionstudios.org to learn more about what she offers for the community. Now, with all that being said and announcements out of the way, I do have a recipe for y'all. And this is my pretty much, I tried to find a video that was short in length and that replicated my recipe from my Southern homemade biscuits, and this pretty much does. So let's go to Divas Can Cook, and she is going to show you how to make homemade Southern biscuits.
Hey guys, today on Divas Can Cook, we are making these fluffy, tender, 3-ingredient buttermilk biscuits. These biscuits are perfect for those who are new at making biscuits or who, you kind of suck at making biscuits. It's okay. It's okay. It's all good if you do, because this recipe, it's going to help you win, honey. Y'all ready? Let's go. Okay, we're going to start by measuring out our self-rising flour. I like to dump it in a measuring cup with a spoon. Give it a few little taps to knock out all of those little air pockets. I love these little clear measuring cups. You can just see everything. Make sure you got everything measured out. And then just go ahead and just sweep the edge, the rim, just like that. So you have a nice, smooth, perfectly measured cup of flour. I'm going to dump this into my bowl. I'm going to dump the rest of it into my bowl because I already went ahead and pre-measured this anyway. I just want to show you guys how you should correctly measure flour. Okay, so now I have a stick of frozen butter. I am using unsalted. You can use salted if you want to, but I always use unsalted butter. Now I'm grating this frozen butter into my flour because I want it to be in little teeny tiny pieces. When this butter goes into the oven and it's all cold, it's going to create steam, and that's going to make fluffy biscuits. So yeah, you can chop it up, but grating, that's the ticket. Grate that frozen butter. Now I'm going to take my little pastry cutter and just kind of, knead everything. I want that butter to be coated in that flour mixture, just like that. I want the mixture to resemble crumbs. That's perfect, just like this. Now I'm working very, very quickly because it's very important that everything stays cold when it goes into the oven. You don't want that butter to start melting because then your biscuits won't rise up, and yeah. So when you're making biscuits, you gotta work quick. Okay, now I'm gonna add some super duper cold buttermilk. Dump that buttermilk on in. Yeah, that buttermilk. I love it so much. My favorite ingredient in the whole world. Okay, so I'm gonna stir this up. Now you will notice that the dough is kind of wet, but girl, whoever watching this, when that dough is wet like that, it makes for the perfect biscuit. Oh my gosh, it really does. So go ahead and sprinkle your work surface with a little bit of flour. Okay, then we're gonna dump our dough onto this board, okay? That looks perfect, just like that. Now you want to make sure that your hands are floured really, really well because this dough is sticky. It is sticky, sticky, sticky. So make sure that your hands are floured, and go ahead and add some more flour to that board if it starts to get really, really sticky. But you want to use the least amount of flour. You want to kind of keep that dough, the inside of that dough, kind of wet and sticky, okay? So go ahead and just fold it a few times. It's going to create beautiful layers in that biscuit like that. See, I'm just kind of folding and pressing, folding and pressing. That's all I'm doing. Now, once you have a few layers in your dough, go ahead and roll it out or pat it out. I'm going to use a 3-inch biscuit cutter. For my size, you can use whatever size you want, but I love that 3-inch cutter. Make sure you get it nice and floured, and then just drive it right down into that dough. You don't want to twist the cutter or anything like that. Just go straight down, okay? And this recipe is so easy to remember. It's just like 2 cups of flour, of self-rising flour, 1 stick of butter, and 1 cup of buttermilk. That is all 2-on-1, 2-on-1, okay? Okay, so now go ahead and remove this dough. Go ahead and get you something to scoop it on up with and place it on the pan. You want to make sure that when you place these biscuits on the pan that you have the sides touching. If not, they're going to rise up and be all lopsided and crazy looking. But when you have them close together, they kind of, have somebody to lean on so they get nice and high. All right, so place them on the pan, sides touching. This pan is ungreased. I have my oven at 450. I'm gonna bake it for 12 to 14 minutes. I like to flip to broil to get them nice and brown like that during that last couple minutes. But yeah, that's how I like it. Next, we are going to get some melted butter and just brush these biscuits generously with butter. Let that butter absorb and then brush them again, and then we are done. Look at that, the fluffiest, tenderest biscuits ever. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos later.
So I hope you enjoyed that recipe. That is pretty much my recipe in a nutshell. Just a little tweaks and twerks that I like to make is that I like to grease my pan and put it in the oven, make that hot with lard on there. And then the key to everything in this is everything has to be frozen and cold because it's really important. That helps everything to bake. And even sometimes I've seen people, and I've done it and it works too, put your bowl you're going to mix your flour in the freezer 30 minutes before you start to make everything. But this is the show today. I know there's a lot of videos in this show, but I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe to wherever you're listening, and let me know how I'm doing. Anything you want to know, please let me know, and I'll research it for you and put it on the show. So remember to join me on my events I'm having, and I'll love to see you. And y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week right here on the CJ Lester Show, airing every Sunday at 6 p.m.